Hey you guys, how's it going? It's Thang. So today in this video we're looking at the Witch Doctor's build for patch 2.4.3, the Firebat build, because they've increased the 6-piece set bonus. So instead of having 1500% increased damage for your Firebat, you're getting 2400% fire damage, well, increase in damage for the Firebat and all the other creature skills as well. So essentially in this build we're using the Ring of Emptiness to increase all the damage that is affected by Locust Swarm and Haunt. So you gotta Haunt and Locust Swarm everything. Well, pretty much Locust Swarm once and then Haunt everything, and because you have Creeping Death, it's actually on there permanently until you kill it. So that's how this build works, and essentially everything else is survivability. Anyways, enjoy the little clip and we'll get into everything else, okay? See you soon. So welcome back. We're going to jump into stats priority first as usual. Our main stats priority is going to be critical chance, critical damage, area plus damage, and fire plus damage. So those four are the most important ones. And then anything else is survivability really. So all resist, armor plus life per hit, whichever one, okay? Okay, so we're going to jump into our gears. The main thing we need is going to be the 6-piece set of Spirit of Arakir right here. I can't pronounce that name properly. Please let me know how to pronounce it. Because this is really, I don't really use this piece set bonus really. Anyways, Spirit of Arakir. So two set piece bonus is really useless. Summons a Spider Queen who leaves behind web that deals 400% weapon damage over 5 seconds, slows enemies, so that's there. 4-piece set bonus, Hex gains the effect of Toad of Hugeness rune. After summoning a Toad of Hugeness, you gain 50% damage reduction and heal for 10% of your maximum life per seconds for 15 seconds. So you always want to hex as much as you can, so that's very important to you to have damage reduction, okay? Number 6-piece set bonus, the damage of your creature skills is increased by 2400% instead of before 1500%. Creature skills are Corpse Spiders, Plague of Toads, Firebats, Locust Swarm, Hex, and Piranhas.
I'm a piranha, then Amazon.
So we are going to be using Firebats as our main DPS, and then Locust Swarm to spread everything else, and then of course Hex. So the Hex of Toad, huge of Toadness right here. Summon a Toad that pulls in enemies briefly, swallowing them whole, then spits them back large, blah 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 blah. Poisons them for 5 seconds, slow them down, and increase their damage taken by 15%. So that's why you always want to Hex as much as you can, as often as you can, because then you get, you know, if they swallow the creature that you really want to DPS, then they get increasing damage taken by 15%. Okay, next item is going to be the Secret Harvester, of course, for survivability. So Harvest now stacks up to 10 times instead of 5 times. Next item is going to be the coils of the first spider. If you read the Diablo book, you know who they are. While channeling Firebats, you gain 30% damage reduction and X amount life per hit. So 60% and 60,000 and 80,000 life per hit return. You always really want to use these bracers on you, equipped on you, because they give you an extra stat versus Lakumba's ornament, which does not give you an extra stat. So the extra stat could be like regenerates life per hit, life per second right there, or armor, or all resist, or something like that. It's really useful for you to have. Now, if let's say Lakumba's ornament is an ancient item, you might want to use that equipped on you instead. Okay, so that's up to you. Next item is going to be the Vow Hive right here. Locust Swarm gains the effects of Pestilence Rune and deals X amount of damage increase, so 45 to 60%. We want to have Locust Swarm spread as fast as we can because for a certain reason, because of the next item right here, which is Bakuli's Jungle Wraps. Firebats deal 200% increased damage to enemies affected by Locust Swarm or piranhas. So that's why we want to have Vow Hive so that it spreads as fast as we can. Not only that, because for the Ring of Emptiness as well. And also because the Locust Swarm that we use will reduce damage taken to us. Okay, so that's why we want that. Next is going to be the Unity Ring. No need for me to explain, so damage reduction. And lastly is going to be the Compass Rose and the Traveler's Pledge. Oop, wrong slots. Which gives us the Endless Walk set bonuses. So while we're moving, we get damage reduction, and while we're standing still, which what we want to do the majority of the time anyways, is damage increase. Simple. For the Kanai Cube, we do want to have the Staff of Chiroptera. Anyways, Firebats attacks 100% faster and costs 75% less mana, because Firebat does drain our mana quite fast without that thing there. So we always want to channel this anyway, right? Next is going to be Lakumba's Ornament. Reduce all damage taken by 6% for each stacks of Soul Harvest you have. So this is very important for survivability. You really can't go on without this at all. I mean, you probably could. I mean, you could probably use Mantle of Channeling if you really wanted to. So whenever you channel that, you get 25% decrease in damage taken as well. That's up to you. Anyways, last is going to be the Ring of Emptiness. So you deal 300% damage increase to enemies affected by both your Locust Swarm and Haunt. So it's funny, this was actually 100%. I guess they changed it in live server. So that's why you want Locust Swarm to spread as fast as you can, and also Haunt as much as you can as well. So you really want to haunt like little guys first, and then also haunt like the elites, so that you can kill them faster. Haunt is really interesting. So whenever you haunt a mob, it does a dot, and if you kill the enemy before that dot dies, it just haunts other stuff. Anyways, so that is for the Kanai Cube. For the legendary gems, we do want the Pain Enhancer. So whenever you crit, you get Blood Frenzy, which gains attack speed for each bleeding enemies within 20 yards. So that's why we don't have like attack speed for our stats priority, because this gem will provide it for us anyway. And the faster we can channel this, the faster things die. Simple. Next is going to be Bane of the Trap and Bane of the Stricken. No need for me to explain those two. For our regular gems, we want the crit gem into our weapon. And then we actually want diamond gems onto our other slots, because we do want the toughness and survivability. Without these, we're a little bit squishy. That's the problem. We're a little bit squishy. And lastly is going to be the purple gem for helm for increase in HP. I got like 1,000,000 HP, yo. Alright, so for Paragon Levels, which is pretty easy, max out your movement speed to 25% and everything else into int. Offensiveness, critical hit chance, critical damage, and then attack speed, cooldown reduction, whichever. Defense, it resists all armor, life regen, and then life. Utility is going to be, now this is interesting, resource cost reduction or area damage, whichever one, or life per hit. Those three are very important anyway. And then lastly is gold fund, because no one cares about gold. Okay, so now for our skills, we do want Haunt as our primary clicker right here, and we're using Draining Spirit. So the spirit returns 12 mana per second, and if you do this with Poison Spirit, you'll notice that your Firebat will not be acceptable because like your Firebat's gonna drain so much of the mana right there. So that's why we use Draining Spirit, so that it returns 12 mana every spirit that is haunted. Okay, so this gives us extra mana regen. Next is going to be Firebats with Clouds of Bats. So this is our primary DPSer. The damage of bats increase every second up to a maximum of 850% weapon damage after 3 seconds. So the longer we channel, the better. Well, after 3 seconds, it's better. Next is going to be Soul Harvest Languish, just for our survivability right there. Spirit Walk with Jaunts, so that we can stand still much longer than normal. With Hex, we want Jinx, so summon a Fetish Shaman for 12 seconds that will hex the group into pigs. Oink, oink. Hex enemies are unable to perform offensive action and take additional 15% damage right there. And then lastly is going to be Locust Swarm, Clouds of Insects. So Clouds of Insects, enemy affected deal 25 reduced damage. That's why we use that, so that we don't die. For our passive skills, we want Confidence Ritual, so you deal 25% additional damage to enemies within 20 yards. Spirit Vessel, so for our cheat death. Grave Injustice, so whenever you kill an enemy, Grave Injustice, let me read this. Grave Injustice, gain 1% of your maximum life and mana and reduce the cooldown of all your skills by 1 second when an enemy dies within 20 yards. So mana regen right there. And lastly is Creeping Death. Your haunts, Locust Swarm, and the damage application from piranhas.
I'm a piranha, then Amazon.
Lasts almost forever. Lastly is going to be our follower. We want to use the Templar for his regen. It's very important we have regen so that we can do Firebats all the time. So we want his Immortal Relic. We actually want Thunder Fury, not Azrath, because I don't know why this guy didn't have Thunder Fury. We also want SF Johan just to pull everything together, a Unity Ring because we have one. And lastly is the Oculus Ring, so that it increases damage when you are actually standing on it. And then Shield, doesn't really matter. For skill is Heal, Loyalty, Charge, and lastly is Inspire, so that you regen your mana, okay? Alright, so how to play this build is pretty easy. I'm going to use level Rift at 75 so that I don't die. What you do is actually you want to haunt as much as you can. As much as you can, you know, and then gather all the mobs, you know. Locust Swarm, yay, everything's done. Language, and that's it. And they just die. That's pretty much it. So you always have to remember to haunt things, because it's not an auto cast, auto spreader like Locust Swarm is, where it's you Locust Swarm and everything just goes around very easy. And there you go. Just remember to Soul Harvest as well, because if you don't Soul Harvest, well, you're gonna end up dying because you don't have the toughness for that shit. Ooh, look at that! Look at my Soul Harvest. Yeah, go my Soul Harvest. Anyways. That's pretty much how you play the build. Just remember to haunt, Locust Swarm, next, and channel that shit. Move into that circle if you can. If your HP is dying, just use Spirit Walk so that way you don't die. Simple, right? That's it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hopefully that you're gonna enjoy Season 9 or above with this build. Anyways, thank you guys again. If you like this video, a thumbs up would definitely be appreciated. If you have questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll reply as best as I can. And don't forget to press subscribe for future content. I'll see you guys later. And don't forget to come to the stream. Sometimes I'm drunk. Anyways, love you. Bye. Mwah. Oh, I just died. Oh, I died a while ago. Whatever. Stop.